I watched a Batman movie this week.
Which one?
I watched the Batman versus Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles,
No,
I
it's
heard
animated.
that
good.
one's pretty good.
It is good.
That one's good.
It is
So
good.
much better than the one I watched last week, the Deathstroke movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one's weird because it's like 95% of the tone of that movie would be appropriate for children. And then the other 5% are like, oh, we're going to just behead some people or have Shredder just totally stab somebody who's just bleeds out.
Right. That's the problem with a lot of the R-rated DC movies is that you often feel like they've actually just added gross stuff to a movie that already would just be fine without it, just to get the rating.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Like
know?
I feel like that one would do better if it was aimed for kids. Like I understand that turtles have like a dark side to them as well,
Right.
but let's be honest, the kids turtles what's making the bank, not
Right.
the
PG-13
it's
is
not-
fine.
Yeah.
right. But I like that one. That one was good.
Right. Is that it? Is that it for our comprehensive DC coverage?
I mean, I've already mentioned that I watched Elliot and I watched both Batman Begins and The Dark Knight over the weekend.
Was he bored by Begins?
No, he actually said he liked Begins a little bit more.
Scarecrow was pretty scary in that.
Mm-hmm. Not only that, but he didn't know anything. It was kind of fun to go in blind on a
Oh,
movie.
sure. I would be actually afraid to show that one to Ty because the Scarecrow.
And he didn't know who the main villain was going to be.
Right.
And he doesn't know the Scarecrow's name is Jonathan Crane.
Jonathan
he doesn't know-
Crane,
Yeah,
yes.
he doesn't know that. So when he put the mask on the first time, he literally jumped off the seat and was like, "Oh my God, it's a Scarecrow!" I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
Aren't you glad you waited and stuck it out? And the twist at the end, he's like, "Wait a minute, he was Ra's al Ghul the whole time." I'm like, "Yep, he was the whole time."
Shit, now I want to watch that.
Mm-hmm.
I watched the movie this weekend, and I know somebody else did too here. It's called The One and Only Ivan. I think that's what it's called.
That's
Is
the
that-
name of that movie.
Is that
Yeah.
the correct title?
I watched
That's
that.
the talking gorilla movie that I haven't watched.
It's on Disney Plus. It's a Disney Plus
Mhm.
movie,
Mhm.
and we actually all really enjoyed it in this household. Some tears were shed by me.
I was gonna say, you tell me right now, does the gorilla die in the end?
I'm not
No.
going to tell you that.
That's a yes.
No.
I mean, eventually.
It's based on a true story. It features talking animals. They obviously computer generated. They've done a really good job,
Like
in this,
Santa buddies.
but looks good. They
It
spent
looks-
some bucks on this.
It looks like they took all the tech from Jungle Book and Lion King
Yeah.
and they made a movie that was good out of that tech.
Right. The key being like it's a normal length movie for a family movie. It's like an hour and a half or something like that. Very reasonable. The acting was really good. I thought like Sam Rockwell was really good, and so was Danny
He's
DeVito.
the monkey, the gorilla.
He's the gorilla. Danny DeVito is the dog. It's about a
Bryan
circus.
Cranston is the man.
Who? Oh, Bryan Cranston. Yeah, he was very good. It's about a circus that's in a shopping mall, and the gorilla within. I won't tell you anything else about it, but it's very interesting to see a Disney movie that doesn't have a villain in it, as like a person as a villain.
I once saw a circus in a flea market.
Sounds sad,
It was very sad. And in the middle of the circus, they had a movie screen,
right?
and they were showing Groundhog's Day.
In case you were bored by the circus, you could watch
Yes,
the movie.
there were literally elephants walking around the movie screen that was showing Groundhog's Day. And if you got bored of that, you could just turn around and buy a machete.
Do you think maybe the movie was for the elephants?
Wait, I'll give you each two guesses. What state was I in at the weapons selling circus movie flea market?
Texas.
I think I've been to this place and it's in Florida.
That is correct. It is in Florida.
I think I've been to this the same exact place. The circus is no longer there.
Fort Lauderdale
Probably
Swap
not.
Shop.
But it is a drive-in yeah, it is the Lauderdale swap shop.
It might be. It might.
Yeah,
might
no,
have
it
been.
totally
Yeah,
is.
Probably.
It's the
yeah.
Fort Lauderdale swap shop.
Mm-hmm.
There's an amusement park as well. And there's a really good arcade in there that has classic cars in the arcade.
Oh, Florida. Never change.
Have you not been there, Cheapy?
No, I should.
You're the
I don't
only one
know.
of us that have not.
And
been
my
to the
grandma
swap
lived
shop?
in Fort Lauderdale, so or near Fort Lauderdale. So,
That's where my aunt and uncle live.
oh well,
So
missed
that's why that
opportunities.
checks.
I think I've talked about the swap shop on the CAGcast before.
Checks out.
Yeah, I feel like you need to go. The actual flea market part of that part is absolutely terrible and makes you feel horrible for being there. But
Why? What are they selling?
Guns.
it's yeah. There's some weapons. It's all
Guns with blood
knockoff.
on them.
Yeah, it's all knockoff stuff. Like it's not like flea markets around here that I go to are like people made something, or it's like antique type stuff. Like here's secondhand type stuff. The swap shop is like here's a bunch of knockoff Nintendos that aren't real, and here's some socks that s- don't have quite the right swoosh on them.
Some fun Tendos.
Yeah, yeah. It's
So you're saying the circus is the reason to go?
this. I don't. They probably buried the circus underneath one of the many drive-in theaters that they have there.
Anyway, the one and only Ivan. Very good family movie. If you have Disney Plus, you should definitely watch it.
Oh,
Thumbs
is that
up.
what we were talking about?
Yes, that's usually.
What else did you watch?
We watched the first episode of The Vow, which is on HBO.
What's
that's,
that?
That's the documentary about the Nexium cult. I think that's what it's called. I had never heard of it, but it was pretty much a big deal.
Is that? Oh, that's the cult. The one with the girl from Smallville.
Yes, I only watched the first episode, and somehow I managed to avoid the news about it, so I really didn't know anything about
That's
it.
weird because I know all the news about it.
Right. So don't mention anything else because it's going to be a spoiler for me.
It's very sad. Prepare to be depressed.
Okay. Well, it's very interesting. The first episode is really fascinating. It basically they've set up some sort of organization which is targeted towards executives. It's like a self-help program, and you're learning how to be empathetic. It sounds like a lot like psychotherapy, and you're performing the psychotherapy on the other people in your group. And I don't know. Apparently, it gets crazy and sex crimes at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So that's The Vow on HBO. I'd recommend that, but there's only one episode out so far. The other show we started watching, I started watching, is Selling Sunset on Netflix. Are you familiar with that, Wombat?
Is that like a reality show?
It is like a reality show that takes place in a real estate office in LA. You haven't seen that at all? It's like a huge hit. It's a huge hit on Netflix.
Yeah, no, I don't care. I'm not a big reality show guy.
First of all, it's the fakest fucking show ever. Like you watch the show and you just can basically see the producer off screen going, "Hey, you guys should fight about this." But intermixed with that, they show really fancy houses in LA, $5 million houses.
I'll stick with Love It or List It.
But you don't get to see like the really cool houses and
I
the
like
fake
Love It or
drama.
Listed houses.
And all the real estate brokers are super hot blondes. The real estate firm is owned by twins. Okay, the guys are. I don't think they're as tall as Wombat. They're both bald, and they're both like very, very California fit. So every time they show the company together, it's two twin, really short, bald guys getting towered over by the blonde real estate agents. It's very, very weird. But it's very fake. It's very fake. And it brings back some memories of my commercial real estate days in very small amounts.
You know what I watched?
What's that?
Every now and again, you come across a movie and you're like, "Oh, I need to watch this, just so I could talk about it on this show."
Okay.
So I watched Bloodshot, the Vin Diesel classic that came out earlier this year.
Classic? It's a classic already?
Oh, it's already a classic. Yes, this is the movie where he's dead and brought back to life with nanites, and he's an
Is he rich?
unstoppable. Huh?
Is he rich?
No.
How rich of a ghost is he?
He's a poor ghost
Okay.
Okay.
brought back to life by rich people.
The rich people will save us.
And he's an unstoppable killing machine. But is he killing the right people?
That's the problem with the billionaires. They will bring us back to life and save us, but only to do their bidding and kill other
Only
people.
to be unstoppable killing machines.
Yes.
But in the end, he kills them.
And he has a heart of gold.
How did you know all of these things without seeing the movie?
It's a tough one to peg.
This movie plays out. Every beat of this movie is exactly what you think is going to happen. There is not one moment in this movie you're like, wait a minute. That guy was bad the whole time? Yeah, no, it doesn't. But that being said, if you like, I hate everything that's going on in the world right now and I really need to turn my brain off for 2 hours,
Right.
you could do worse than Bloodshot.
You watch The Old Guard.
Yeah. I don't know.
Which is better.
I know. I'm really trying to figure that out. The Old Guard might have the slight edge.
To me, I would rate the Old Guard a RoboCop 3 equivalent.
Oh, see, I think it's more in line with the RoboCop 2.
I know you do. That's how we disagree.
Mm-hmm. But Bloodshot is pretty dumb. That's
RoboCop 2
pretty
didn't
dumb.
offend my intelligence so much.
Really?
It offended my...
A robot pulls his head off because he thinks it's a helmet.
Wait, what?
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't,
Yeah.
I don't remember that, but that's pretty good.
Oh, in RoboCop. No, that's not what
Robo-
happened in RoboCop 2. That's not what
robot-
happened.
One of the test subjects pulls his head right
Yes,
off.
but not because he thinks it's a helmet. He's killing himself. He's
Yeah.
just so horrified that he's been brought back to life. The rich people brought him
And you
back
see
to
the
life.
skull and he goes, ah!
It's a great scene. That's probably the best scene in the movie.
It is the
actually.
best scene in the movie. It is. Yeah.
That movie is RoboCop 2 is not a bad movie. It's just uneven. There's some really great ideas, and it's just sort of a sequelitis type situation. RoboCop 3 is just an embarrassment to filmmaking. That's the difference.
Yes, but the Old Guard is not an embarrassment to filmmaking.
It's somewhere between RoboCop 2 and 3.
Fine.
It's like that RoboCop
Done.
TV series that they made in Canada, Prime Directive. It's like there, I would say. Thank you for your cooperation. All right. Let's move on. Here's something that we can all agree upon. It's fine quality. HelloFresh.